Imagine this, a religion older than the Bible, older than the Quran, older even than large parts of the Old Testament. It invented heaven and hell, the devil, Judgment Day, the idea that good and evil are locked in an eternal war, and almost nobody knows its name. But you know its ideas. You've believed them your entire life. The people who created this religion built the greatest empire the world had ever seen, from Egypt to India, from the Black Sea to the Persian Gulf, 44 million people, one name, Persia. Today, Iran. When you think of Iran today, you probably think of ayatollahs, nuclear weapons, bombs. But that is the end of the story. Let's start at the beginning and subscribe Wonderworld Mega for more dark history. Zarathustra. Say the name out loud. Maybe you know it through Nietzsche, maybe through a symphony, maybe as a punchline. The real Zarathustra was no punchline. It is 1,500 years before Christ. Maybe earlier, the exact date is lost to time. Somewhere on the Iranian plateau, a man stands alone, and he has a vision. God, he says, is light, is wisdom, is truth. His name, Ahura Mazda, the all-knowing, the good, and standing against this God is an enemy, Ahriman, darkness, the destroyer, evil itself. Does that sound familiar? It should, because Zarathustra taught that every human being must choose, good or evil, light or darkness. And at the end of time, on Judgment Day, all people will be judged by their deeds. The righteous will enter paradise. The wicked will be cast into hell, paradise. The word comes from ancient Persian, paradisa, a walled garden. The Persians invented the word. 3 world religions borrowed it. But it goes even deeper. The Zoroastrians believed in angels, in demons, in a savior who would appear at the end of time, the Saoshyant. Does that sound like the Messiah? Yes, because it influenced him. When Cyrus the Great freed the Jewish people from Babylonian captivity in 538 BC, they brought something back with them. Persian ideas. About angels, about the devil, about life after death. The Bible calls Cyrus the Anointed of God, the Messiah, the only non-Jew in history ever given that title. And the 3 wise men from the Christmas story? The Magi who followed the star? In the original text, they are called exactly that, Magi, Zoroastrian priests, from Iran. Let that sink in for a moment. The Persians built a religion that gave the world heaven and hell, the devil and the savior, paradise and judgment day, and Judaism, Christianity, and Islam carried those ideas forward, as if they had invented them themselves. The Persian Empire fell, the Greeks came, the Arabs came, Islam came, but the ideas remained. Thousands of years pass. Persia disappears beneath foreign names. Parthia, the Sassanids, the Mongol invasion, the Safavids. But the people remain. The culture remains. And in the early 20th century, the land officially calls itself Iran, from the ancient Persian word for homeland. It has a monarchy. It has oil. And it has a man who loves democracy. His name is Mohammad Mosaddegh, an old man, often sick. He sleeps in his pajamas and receives diplomats in his bed. The international press mocks him for it. Time magazine names him anyway, or perhaps because of it, Man of the Year, 1951, because this old man in his pajamas does something no one before him had dared to do. He looks Great Britain, still a world power, directly in the eye and says, "Your oil is not yours. It belongs to my people." For decades, the Anglo-Iranian Oil Company, known today as BP, had been pumping Iranian oil. The British took the lion's share. Iranians got the scraps. For every barrel Iran produced, BP paid less in royalties than Britain itself collected in taxes on the profits. Mosaddegh nationalizes the oil. For the Iranian people, London immediately shuts the tap. Iranian tankers are blocked worldwide. No country is allowed to buy Iranian oil. The economy collapses. And then the British call Washington. Washington listens. In the summer of 1953, a man arrives in Tehran, quietly, under a false name. His real name, Kermit Roosevelt Jr., grandson of Theodore Roosevelt, CIA officer, in his luggage, a budget of $1 million. What he does over the following weeks is now documented in declassified CIA files, black and white, stamped with the seal of the United States government. He buys generals, he buys parliamentarians, he buys newspaper editors who call Mosaddegh a communist, an enemy of Islam, a tool of Moscow. All lies, all paid for. He pays thugs to march through Tehran and provoke riots. He orders bombings and then pins the blame on the prime minister. But the darkest part is still to come. CIA agents bomb the home of an Islamic cleric and then spread the story that Mossadegh's supporters did it. They pay mullahs to preach against him. They fund protesters marching for the Shah and protesters marching against the Shah to create maximum chaos. This is not a coup. This is theater. Expensive, blood-soaked theater. August 19, 1953, a Thursday. Armored vehicles surround Parliament. Soldiers arrest Mossadegh's ministers. The old man escapes over his garden wall in his pajamas. He is caught shortly after, tried in court, sentenced to house arrest for life. He dies in 1967, alone, in his house, a declared enemy of the state. And the Shah? He returns from exile, in a U.S. military aircraft, and he knows exactly who he has to thank for his throne. His payment to Washington. Iranian oil flows again. This time, 40% goes directly into American hands. For the Iranian people, nothing, except a new secret police force. In 1957, 4 years after the coup, the CIA and the Shah co-found the SAVAK, the secret police, the most brutal institution Iran had ever known. SAVAK watches, SAVAK interrogates, SAVAK tortures. Survivors describe what happened inside the interrogation rooms: beatings, electric shocks applied directly to the body, fingernails torn out, teeth knocked loose, weeks of sleep deprivation, burns, and things far worse that never appear in any official report. Tens of thousands of political prisoners, intellectuals, students, journalists, anyone who speaks up, anyone who asks questions, anyone who remembers what Mosaddegh could have been. 25 years, and the people remember. They remember the democracy that could have been. They remember who stole it. And when the rage boils over, there is only one leader who speaks loudly enough. Ayatollah Khomeini, 1979, the Islamic Revolution. Within months, the Shah that America built is gone. The SAVAK that America helped create disappears, replaced by something even darker, the Revolutionary Guards, the mullahs. A theocracy that nobody had truly wanted, except those who felt they had no other choice left. 52 American diplomats are taken hostage, 444 days, broadcast live on American television. America is stunned. America asks itself, why do they hate us so much? Kermit Roosevelt Jr., the CIA man with the suitcase, is living comfortably in Washington at this point. He writes a book about his operation. He calls it a success. And the wheel keeps turning. It is the spring of 2026. A new president sits in the White House. His name is well known. His playbook, even more so. What has happened over the past weeks can be measured in numbers. 49 days of war. 49 days in which U.S. forces and Israel bomb Iran's nuclear facilities. 49 days in which the U.S. Navy blockades the Strait of Hormuz, the narrow passage through which 20% of the world's oil supply flows every single day. Imagine turning off a single faucet, and half the world runs dry. That is the Strait of Hormuz. That is the weapon both sides are holding. Iran responds. It seizes ships. It launches drones. It announces, "We will close the strait." Trump responds, "That will not happen, not on my watch." And then, behind closed doors, in a room the public will never see, something happens that only comes to light weeks later. A former CIA analyst steps in front of a camera, and he says, publicly on record, that Trump wanted to use nuclear codes against Iran, a general, General Kane, a hesitation, a decision made in a single second that would have changed the world. He says no. We are all still here, because one general said no in one room. Trump threatens openly, "You need to make a deal, or I will drop bombs you cannot even imagine." He threatens to destroy Iran's civilian energy infrastructure, power plants, dams, everything that keeps 90 million people alive. At the same time, negotiations are underway. Iran says, "We keep our right to uranium enrichment. We are a sovereign nation." Washington says, "No deal without complete abandonment of the nuclear program." On April 21, 2026, yesterday, the White House announces the ceasefire is extended indefinitely. Peace? No. A pause. Because on that very same day, Iran's Revolutionary Guard seizes 2 more vessels in the Strait of Hormuz, and a former U.S. ambassador explains on live television, Trump could end this ceasefire at any moment, maybe next week. Now stop and think. 1953, a suitcase full of cash, a democracy stolen, a secret police force built to torture. 1979, the consequence, a theocracy, 444 hostages, the fury of an entire nation. 2026, bombs, naval blockades, nuclear codes, almost used. Same country, same goal, different tools. But who pays the price? Not the generals, not the presidents, not Kermit Roosevelt Jr. and his book about his great success. The Iranian people pay. They have been paying since 1953, every single day. A people who gave the world the concept of paradise, the word, the idea, the dream. History is not a straight line. It is a wheel. It turns. And if you look closely enough, you begin to see it. What is happening today began thousands of years ago, on an Iranian plateau, with a prophet, with an idea. Light against darkness, good against evil. Ahura Mazda against Ahriman. 1953, a suitcase full of money bought the darkness. 1979, the darkness fought back. 2026, the wheel is still turning, and nobody knows where it stops. Maybe Zarathustra was right. Maybe this is the oldest war of all, and it is not over yet.